minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
Marketing.
How about that?
We got it. Oh, are you in for a treat, everybody? Or at the very least, I know we are. The old 96er is here. We're live from Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, Canada. It's a Football Friday on the RP Show, Game Plus streaming. Silver State Sports. Schultz, I didn't tell him he's here into hour 2. Did you know that? You're here for? Okay, good. Hall of Famer, by the way. An NFL alum. He had a little more than a cup of coffee and a Danish down in the league. So you ready to talk some ball?
Absolutely.
Everybody's excited to see you.
Oh, yes.
They're only human.
Usually it's just my mom and my grandma.
Yeah. Are you going to see Mom on your trip over here?
Yeah, I'm zipping over right after.
All right. We're here to talk football. We have fans from all across the Canadian Football League watching today. Schulte's got his rider gear on. I thought I would rep the RP Show brand today. I did just a thriller to open Week 8 in the Canadian Football League last night. But if you're amenable, the guy that showed up for games 5 hours before kickoff.
Oh, no, here we go.
Shows up 7 minutes before the show. I'm like, I got all these things to get into with you. I guess we just got to do it on the air.
We just got to do it on the air. We got to recap. We'll just take it slow, step by step.
The producer is saying, eat the mic. Put that right up to your mouth.
Sorry.
Oh, it's perfect. That's
gotta get it going.
What I love about Moose Jaw, and the producer says that's beautiful. Thank you. What I love about Moose Jaw, you see this little splitter thing here?
Oh, yeah.
I had to get that built yesterday. John's Music.
Oh, yeah.
I said, you got a two-way splitter for an XLR mic? He goes, well, yeah. He goes, I mean, you could order one on Amazon, or I could do it right now.
Do it right now.
Welcome to Moose Jaw,
right,
baby.
That's called skill.
Yeah, it's called hometown. It's called the way we do things. It's a great town, eh?
Oh, I love this town. Lots of action going on in the Jaw, always.
Yeah, but peaceful. It's good action.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good action.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's just one of those things where you got a good mix of old and young, and the community is starting to thrive again, and it's real exciting.
It's so good. This is his hometown, the old 96er.
The
This
old
is
stomping ground.
Blame this town for the way he is. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So we're live at Western Dodge, Moose Jaw's go-to for Ram, Dodge, Jeep. Listen, we're here to talk football. Can you talk NFL when we go to hour 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit?
Yeah,
okay,
yep.
Cool. What an ending last night.
Oh, I was there in the Alumni Lounge.
Lift that up.
In the Alumni Lounge.
36-34, Saskatchewan Roughriders fall to the Edmonton Elks. 57-yard field goal by Victor Blanchard, and the Elks go to 6-1. The Riders fall to 4-2. So you were there. I was not. I was calling baseball. So what was it like to be in the house?
You know what? You see the people trickling in. It's a Thursday night, July, a little tough for everyone to get there, but I thought there was a good turnout for the crowd. And then it just built and built and built, and I tell you, it was close the whole way. And no one really, pulled ahead. It was just tit for tat, and it was an electric game. Like I was excited. I was cheering with the folks that I was there with and hosting, high fiving.
Who are you hosting?
Some clients out of Yorkton that actually they bought some tickets to come into the Alumni Lounge supporting Stars Area Ambulance.
Y-Town,
good town.
Yeah, it is a good town. Yorkton. That's a very unheralded, underrated pocket of rider fandom out there in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. So as I said, we have fans from all across the league, but specifically in this opening segment, which is brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show, and the CFL's BC Lions. We have fans of Edmonton and Sask. You and I, we don't talk enough.
No, I don't know.
You're too busy.
4 kids.
My guy, Cody Fajardo, and your wife's got 5. Cody Fajardo, 5'10",
bro,
4 touchdowns.
That's Dunnigan numbers.
Yes, I thought that when I saw that.
I said that walking out to about 10 people.
What did you think when they got the ball with a minute to go and down? What were they? We're down 1? Yeah.
Well, you know what? It just, to me, the Riders all season have felt like how it felt. You remember the 2007 season. It's just 11 of the 12 games we were down in the fourth quarter, and you had the sense that we were always going to figure it out, and we did that. I get that sense with this Grey Cup, defending championship roster they have. They feel comfortable. They trust each other, and they don't panic. And as you can see, the Edmonton Eskimos, the Elks and the Riders are the toast of the CFL. I don't think either team lost anything. I mean, of course, we're 4-2, they're 6-1, but I think this is going to be a battle for the playoffs.
Well, and then they go back up there in week 9, right? This was a home and home.
Back to back.
Doesn't it feel like a big difference between 6-1 and 4-2? Feels like
It feels like a marked difference.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was a close game. I mean, you're getting all those points. I don't like 410 yards on our Rider defense, but what are you going to do? I mean, when you get in a shootout, you just got to be there in the end.
Well, the Riders' hallmark is their D.
Yes.
So what did you think on that last? Like, listen, all the sales guys, it's Saskatchewan, everybody. It's the Alabama of Canada. They're all talking about it here at Western Dodge. And the guys were, I said, they're like, what a field goal. I said, did you think he was going to make it 57 yards? They're like, no.
I didn't think so either. And the other question is, next year with the new changes, does that field goal happen? I mean, you take out 5 yards, you extend the poles go to the back. I don't know. You know, it's going to be, it's crazy. But suffice to say, our defensive back end, they just need to tighten things up. You know, we're going into a back-to-back. I think we came out fairly healthy, and we were getting guys coming back. So it's just a matter of execution, right? We got to go into their town with a chip on our shoulder and get one back.
Oh, I think the chip's there now. But how about the way the Riders played given the events of the week? And we all know the Jaden Dahlke situation, the other victim, Bishma, honored prior to the game. They didn't look like a team, the Riders, that were rattled.
You know, the first 7 minutes, it was kind of touch and go.
Dicey would be your term.
A little bit dicey, you know. And you know, and what I was, again, gives me that feeling of that 07 and of course their great success last year. They've got the confidence, they've got the veterans there, and they've got the experience to sort those things out. And so they're going through an emotional week like that, coming off of a bye week. I mean, talk about a loaded gun. For an upset, and they did a great job. I mean, I thought they were winning it until the very end.
And they almost did. But again, Cody Fajardo, my guy, as we say, 5'10", got him just in enough. Because, of course, I'm watching the game. And by the way, our Moose Jaw Millers have won 13 in a row.
Hey-o.
Not a big deal. But actually a very big deal. But I'm in the booth broadcasting the baseball, trying to keep an eye on the game. And you know how on the TV they have the target line? You got to get to this line.
Yep.
They didn't get anywhere near the target line. And they still kick the field goal to win the damn thing. 57 yards. So we're gonna take a break.
All right.
We're up so we're welcoming all football fans in today across the CFL. We'll talk about the other games. 902-518-3033. The text line is brought to you by our friends here at Western Dodge. 902-518-3033. But bear with us. It's going to be a lot of RP and Schultz talk because we only do one a year. That's just like Christmas today for the viewers, right? And for me, and the YouTube chat is open as well, so we'd like to hear from you all today. Big one tonight, Calgary at Winnipeg. We'll get to all of that when the RP show continues from Western Dodge and Moose Jaw right after this timeout.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show, Football Friday, live from Western Dodge. We're in Schultze's hometown. Appreciate him coming over. You saw the ad for the Mad Greek. If you're craving the famous Greek ribs everybody's raving about, go check them out this weekend. There, you don't make them better than that.
Well, they'll make you look like this, but they're delicious.
I was going to say, you look like you're down a little.
I'm trying. For any more weight I lose, I'm going to have to run around in the shower to get wet, but we'll keep you posted.
You got to get some new lines. Hall of Famer Scott Schultz, 902-518-3033 is the text line to reach us. It's funny because I've been talking about Hall of Fames and stuff and guys going in, guys getting snubbed and all the rest. And I remember when you –
Sure.
So you were done in 2009. What year did you go in?
I want to say later than that, like 15 maybe, 14.
Was it that late?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But I know what we were in the old stadium when you went in.
Yes.
So
and the old rules.
Right. Well, 2016 was the last year of that place. So it was right around there. Okay.
Right.
Because I was saying to the viewers that you were kind of wondering why you weren't in the plaza yet. You had a plaza-worthy career.
Oh, sure.
And I said, well, Schultz, you going in. I know that. And you're like, I could be hit by a bus tomorrow. Put me in. But that's how guys feel. It's not wrong.
No.
You know what I mean? Put a guy in.
No, especially when you it's more of that partnership. I mean, you've been with the club for so long. You've done so much. They've helped me in my career on and off the field, and the reciprocal is getting involved in the community and doing those things. I mean, how many dinners have we been to? How many events have we supported? And so it's pretty special to be recognized by a historic organization like that.
Well, and the guy that I think of is Darren Fleury, because I don't know if he'll ever get into the Hockey Hall of Fame or not, but I've been told by Flames people, we're going to retire Theo's number eventually. And he's like, when?
Yeah, do it.
Another Saskatchewan guy.
Absolutely.
From Oxbow Sask. Glad you asked. Anyways, before we move on to a few other things, and Schultze's here through one segment of hour two. When we go to air in Nevada and Las Vegas, we'll tell a few NFL stories there. But the viewers I see writing in are really on the Riders for allowing 510 yards passing by Cody Fajardo last night and his 4 tuds. What would you say to them?
The Riders?
To the fans,
to the
fans. Rider, whatever, yeah.
It's all about execution, and that's the old player in me. I mean, everything gets so hyperbolic and blown out in the media and stuff, and that's what's fun to talk about. But as far as them, I mean, I don't think that any shine came off of them. It was a tough shootout type of a game. You don't want to have too many of those. Now, I don't think that they've let up this many yards in a long time. And I don't think it's something that's going to be prevalent or reoccurring for them. So you just go back to the drawing board. You see where the mistakes were. You see everyone's going to everyone's got 2 or 3 plays out there that they wish they could take back where they were this close if they would have done this or should have done that. So I think just calm down. We're 4-2. It's early season and things are starting to form up and shake themselves out.
So they're 4-2. So that's the opening third of the season's behind them.
Yep.
And let's be honest. You've been through, I think it was 9 seasons you played. Yep. The opening third, it's nice to rush out to a great start. Everybody wants to, but if you don't, like I'm looking at BC. They're 1-4 going into Saturday's home game against Toronto. You said that you're following it, not as closely as you used to. Like I get, you're a busy guy, but you know enough.
Yeah.
How much? And they don't have their quarterback.
No, well, and see that's the thing. You look at what Edmonton and BC did the week before prior. I mean, it was another tight game, low scoring game, under 20 for both teams. But you see that they shut down that running back on first down, and we had some action. Fajardo had, I think, 4 or 5 40-yard plus completions. Like it was, he was throwing darts.
Video game numbers,
absolutely.
Dunnigan numbers.
Dunnigan. I mean, it's one of those deals. But the thing about Fajardo is, if you can put him in long yards and force him to beat you, he does what he does. They were able to have a great mix of back and forth football. Run and pass that just opened it up for him, and it came down to the wire.
I'll say this before we do move on to a few other things. John and Edmonton, would you move off the attendance, please? Like I don't care. I want to talk about the games. Can we? It's just such a worn out narrative. I'll just ask you this about Cody Fajardo because I never asked you. Are you a Fajardo guy? Clearly, I am.
Yeah.
Are you?
Not really. I mean, once you're out of here, I don't really care. I mean, they're on to bigger and better things. The things that, he's a great player. He shows flashes. It's just, to me, he's just a little too inconsistent. I mean, like what he did in Montreal was amazing. I mean, for a one season to go and do what he achieved and finally get that chip for him, you got to take your hat off. But more often than not, when the pressure's on, there's trouble.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I mean, 6-1 is 6-1.
Yep.
MVP of the 2023 Grey Cup, and I mean, we talk quite a bit, man. I love the guy, but the more he's doubted, the more he just shines.
Everyone wants to be part of a comeback story too, right? So anytime he's been down and then he rallies himself and rallies his troops, people get behind him.
So interesting. Talked about BC. Chase, for all the Lions fans watching, shout out Vancouver Eric. I see you. Chase Bryce is the starting quarterback for BC against Toronto. I'm sorry, I don't give them a hope of winning. I've been reading the game notes. I didn't delve because I'm setting up here. It's a busy day, but I just saw that Chad Kelly, I think this is number 2 in passing in the CFL for the Argos. They're 2-4. I just think BC hasn't had a quarterback make his CFL debut since 2022, Michael O'Connell. Like they've had Rourke for longer than you think, or they've been moving some veterans through there, like the Masolis and stuff like that. They've been pretty lucky, actually, at the quarterback position. I don't know how this is going to go. My point is the quarterback play is so important in any league.
It is, in this league especially, it is a killer because the guys that they have are the guys that they have. And, of course, you've got second and third tertiary options, but I mean, there's a big difference between the ones and the twos in the CFL. There's no question about it.
You're using some insurance terms here.
Tertiary?
That's. I feel like that's from your other career.
Well, they commingle. I mean, that's how it goes.
Don't make me bring out a dictionary here. Can you use football terms?
Let's go.
Other options, I think, is the term tertiary. Okay, I get you. I'm just teasing you. But you talked about I mean, I've seen your act a few times on the banquet trail.
Of course.
And you talk about all the comebacks in the 2007 season.
Yeah.
Well, the good years and the bad years, and your years in SAS were mostly good, and the games themselves were when we had a good quarterback. When we didn't have a chance.
No.
Period.
No, and it's so critical, and it's just on the defensive mindset is just get the ball into the offense's hands as many times as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start having troubles at the pivot, it just the whole offense is off sync. You got a new guy coming in. He's trying to get a rhythm, and he's got 5 receivers that he's got to manage. He's got a running back and all the rest of it. It's tough. It's tough coming in.
That same John from Edmonton writes in. He says, Scott, you should be wearing the number one team's merchandise, the Edmonton Elks. What other team merchandise do you have in your closet?
You know what? I think I have anything. I might have
like NFL stuff, I mean, or you've never been a hockey guy, really.
No, but I mean, as far as merch, like, to be quite honest, my youngest son is so into soccer. I mean, I'm more likely to have a Messi jersey around somewhere.
Oh boy,
than anything else. But you know, I think there's at one point I had a Chris Hoople jersey from BC.
Chris Hollywood Hoople. Why?
Well, we were buddies, and I just had one of his jerseys one time. But God, that was a great guy.
I haven't heard that name in a day.
Remember that gal that he had, the lawyer?
Oh yeah,
she was a beauty.
Over his head. Jeff the Stamps fan writes in. He says Vernon Adams is about to set a record, passing both Ricky Ray and Darian Durant in doing so. So actually, thank you, Jeff the Stamps fan. I actually do appreciate you. Me and him have quite a back and forth because he's a Stamps fan. But
boo.
Yeah. Well, so this interception record that Davis Alexander's set, right? I think it's 332, most attempts without a pick.
Right.
Breaking Darian's record. This one with VA is touchdown interception ratio. 2013, Ricky Ray set the all-time mark for percentage of highest touchdowns versus lowest picks. But VA's team is 2-4.
Yeah.
Which is sucky for him because he's playing all world.
Oh, he is playing all world. And it's just, you know, over the years, Calgary has always been that front runner team. And so I always relish when they start to have some struggles. But the coaching staff, the players that they have, they've always, if one thing that they've shown consistency in is replacing, replenishing, and finding their way back.
Yep.
And so you can never hold them out. And like you said, it's only, what is it, a third of the season's behind us. There's a lot of time for things to shake out, folks.
Here's a good one for you. I mean, we're going to weave our way between the current day and the old times. I had, when G-Roy was on a couple of weeks ago, I said, you were the guy that when we played you, I didn't know you, but I couldn't hate you because you were so good. I said to the viewers, who was the player on the opposition that you couldn't hate? Some guy from Vancouver wrote in, he goes, it was Scott Schultz for me. And I said, don't worry. I hated him enough. You don't need to hate him.
Yeah.
That was a BC fan, Vancouver Eric, who's watching today.
Oh, cool.
Who was your biggest rival as a team in your 9 seasons?
The biggest rival?
But yeah, he just hated the most.
Oh.
I want to say BC, but
you know, I will say it's BC, and
it had to be BC.
And the reason why is there was teeth behind it. It meant something. It wasn't just some rivalry for the sake of rivalry where things weren't really hot at the time, but we're mad because we're playing Winnipeg, right? Because that's the all-time rivalry. But with BC, and I'll give them credit, you know, tip of the cap, they edged us so many times. So the one time that we got them,
until the day they didn't.
That's right. You know, and so I would say, yeah, the rivalry that was the most bitter was with BC because it meant something, because there was always something on the line.
Which is sort of odd in that you don't bring up Calgary, but in that era, it really Henry. I mean, that was big. That was big.
Yep.
But I'm talking the Rob Murphys.
Yeah.
The Carl Kids, that knob.
And then
Shiv was over on that side after a while.
Those guys, there are so many characters. Just like we had the Nate Davises, myself, Eddie Davis, all the guys on offense, Andrew Green and J.O. Mikowski, all the stoicism, all the, you know, just the angst of our organization versus, you know, they were kind of flash in the pan, and they were just Bono did such a great job. They had Dickinson, they had Printers, then they had Buck Pierce. I remember the game. Do you remember the game? We put out both.
Spurgeon win.
Well, there's another one. But I remember I put out Dickinson first quarter. Nate Davis puts out Casey Printers second quarter. Buck Pierce comes into the third and lights us up at home, 40-something to whatever. It was gross. So,
speaking you shall be heard. Vancouver Eric writes in. He says Rob Murphy had issues. Oh, sorry. Rob Murphy must have had some battles with 96. It wasn't this guy. It was 97.
Yeah, the guys that are a little spread out on the edge. I'm more inside. I was a Kelly Bates, Angus Reid fighter.
Kelly Waits.
Yeah.
No, but check. Here's have you realized yet, Chelsea? Have you sat back and said, "Oh my God, I was the Rob Murphy pinning Chick by this throat was 2007."
That's a long time ago.
20 years, bro. When does that dawn on you that was like
right now?
Right you now. Haven't thought about that since?
Oh, I've thought about it quite a bit.
No, but how long ago it was?
No, it's a long time ago, but I mean those are the things that you remember most. It's not so much the scoreboard or even the wins or the losses. It's the interplay and the interplay drama that happens between the individuals.
Glenn in Medicine Hat says it seemed like DB Corey Banks was a pain in the butt to play against. Good defender. Couldn't shut up. Are you going to criticize somebody for not shutting up? Do you see who we're sitting beside?
Yeah.
You're the biggest motor mouth in the league.
Yeah.
Certainly at the time, maybe you've all a bunch of fat and sassy pigs. People still say that's their favorite line.
Dude, but the thing of it is, and you've heard this a million times, but we would kind of ramp things up and build it, like wrestling
all week,
and then in the game we wouldn't say a word unless there was some real bad play or physical stuff going on and a fight broke out, which did happen. But most times we would just keep our mouths shut, and those guys would be getting, they're getting extra effort
go off the end,
and they're getting penalties, and because they're so excited, while we're just slow and steady and pulling the train.
Travis Lulay writes in, Jared, all the old time CFL fans are showing up. But pause for a brief second and be right back on the RP Show from Western Dodge and Moose Jaw.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, we're back, everybody. It's a very special occasion, live from Western Dodge and Moose Jaw, our longtime sponsors here on the RP Show. Glad to have you aboard. They sponsor the text line every day, 902-518-3033. Noni writes in from Calgary. She says, hi, Rod, just driving back to Calgary after the heartbreaking, emotional game last night in Regina. Many mistakes to be cleaned up for the Riders, but I felt they played with a lot of grit. So that's from Noni. I guess it sucks to lose, right? Somebody's got to lose. It was that close, right?
Hey, the other team gets paid too, Ruddy.
Right. Which is actually, it feels like a worn-out cliche, but it really is actually accurate.
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean, you have to have the delusional belief in yourself that you're always going to do or win. But the fact of the matter is there's resistance. And that's the interplay is the beauty of everything.
You brought something up here earlier. I don't know if I got it right or if you meant to, if I took it the wrong way. You brought up the rules or the changes.
Yeah.
I was reading the game notes this morning. There have been 11 non-singles this year with the changes, the modified rules. Shoot, we saw a big one last week, Hamilton-Toronto. With the change, The game ends.
Yep.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that they took that rouge out for missed field goals. And then I see Luke Wilson fighting with Bob Irving on Twitter today. I don't know if you saw this or not.
Not yet.
No, but Bob Irving said, why are they moving the uprights after this great ending last night? And Luke's like, now Luke's defending the CFL. Last year he's dumping on him. I don't know where he fits on this. But how are you on the changes?
You know what? I don't mind some of the changes because I understand, entrepreneurship and business and you need to expand and there needs to be changes, and some changes stick and some changes don't. We all know that. The things that I would get a little more uptight about is if they started, tinkering with, the yard off the ball, or they start messing with the waggle, things like that. But if you're talking about some it appears that they're doing these things to be able to fit into multiple stadiums and these kinds of things, and have a better in-stadium experience. I'm okay to see where it goes and see what just don't forget the NFL had their goalposts at the goal line in the 70s, and then they made the switch, and it hasn't really it's been a great thing for them.
Well, I mean, I don't like to fight at all, so I'm going along with it. But the Bob Irving represents that old guard of CFL fan and media that they're just against us. And I'm like, do you guys think that if you keep pushing back on it, they're going to change? Because I don't think they're going to change their mind. It's here.
Well, what I see too is like that the single rule is like, everyone was complaining or pushing for it to be gone. And how can you win a game on a single point for missing and all the rest of it? But then, of course, when it's in your favor to get that single, then you're maybe we want it. And it's just changed. But definitely, it's for the seriousness of the game, I'm for having that out. I mean, you should not be able to win a game on a missed field goal.
Well, and it also, by the way, but that's the thing is it comes down to opinion, because Elgard was on this show a couple of months ago, and he goes, it's not really rewarding failure. Yes, it is. You missed a field goal and you're getting a point. So what would you call it?
That's right.
Right? So, but again, nobody can all agree. And that my point, I guess, of it all is the owners own the league, and the commissioner's in that role for a reason. They're in charge.
That's right.
So I guess you have a right to make your opinion known, but don't think you're going to affect change. And with the 35-second clock and some of these other things, you can't even see a difference.
No. And the way that they ran it before, if anything, it's just tightened things up, and it's more of it's not as much of an issue. It's just things it seems to be just going ahead, and like you said, you can barely even tell. So like I said, some of these cosmetic changes I'm okay with. If they really start tinkering with the game, then I would definitely have more pushback.
So how are you on expansion? I think everybody can agree that we need it, but I shouldn't speak for you. How do you feel about it?
I'm for it if it makes sense. If it's a viable opportunity that is going to thrive, then I'm for it. But expansion for the sake of expansion, when the community or the government's not on board to get these things built, because you got to have a stadium and all the rest of it, it's just going to hurt the rest of the league. So it's got to be done in a way that just supports the community that's going to accept this.
Let's say that they're going to expand. Does it matter to you if it's only in Canada or if it goes to the States?
I could care. I like that expansion experiment. I mean, Baltimore Stallions. I mean,
That's awesome.
It was great. It would certainly be fun, and it would be interesting to see how they manage all that with the difference in currency and operating in two different countries. But I think there's some viable spots in Canada that we could look at that before you would go into the States.
You know what's funny about that, because you're not the only guy to bring up the currency thing. Somebody brought up the antitrust, like the ratio and how that's illegal in the States.
Yep.
You can't have X amount of immigrant workers.
Exactly. And so how do you?
Yet we did do it.
How
you know what I mean?
Was that enforced when that was?
There were no ratio for American teams.
Yeah.
Yet, listen, you're talking a 30-year CFL guy here. I crunched all the numbers.
Yeah.
The Canadian teams in regular season play were 500 all time against the U.S. teams, and you were old enough to remember when a Canadian team played a U.S. team, it was war, man. It was it wasn't just on the gridiron; it was like a civil thing.
Definitely, and so you look at the tones of that, and how I just don't know how they're going to sort all that out. I don't know how they're going to.
Well, okay, so we leave it to our leaders in the league. Do we have faith that they know what they're doing?
I do. I mean, it's a lot of these guys have been stalwarts of the league for decades and decades and decades. And so, they're just going to go forward with their plan and try to get growth. And that's the goal here. And that's the other thing too. I mean, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast about, let's get off the attendance. The way that this entertainment is distributed, I mean, it's so broad these days that I think that stadium attendance, although is key, it's not going to be the main focus of these teams as we go, because there's so many distribution avenues.
Well, it's interesting because we talked on the show here yesterday. The figure came out. The NFL made more money revenue-wise last year than the MLB, NBA, NHL combined. And the viewer Ken in Mississauga made a really good point. He goes, they only have a certain amount of games. How are they making all this money? Well, they found a way, and it's not all just ticket sales.
No.
And that's what the CFL needs to tap into.
Well, absolutely. And then, you see them trying to do that with the gambling and stuff, but it's just, it seems to be slowly coming around. I don't know. I mean, maybe you know better how that revenue and all that stuff's going, but, we're starting to get there, and it just seems like the CFL stalwarts, the guys that are the OGs, we'll say, they just do not want any of that change, and it's the world we live in, guys.
Yeah, well, I think you'd like to get it around to where you can make money without winning as a team. That's the case with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
CFL's not there. You need to have people in the stadium, and winning helps.
Winning helps, but yeah, you definitely, and that's the thing. Like, I would like to see more of a grassroots push, not only in Regina, but everywhere in the CFL, because like it or not, that's an angle that will sell and be embraced in the CFL. We're not going to be the NFL, but there's nothing wrong with scaling things back a little bit and making sure things are running effectively.
By the way, as I look at the text line, 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge, as I say, there are fans of other teams. We try to appease them as much, but we'll get to some other team talk when we come back after the break. It's not every day we have a Hall of Famer in our midst in the old 96er, Scott Schultz. But I guess producer Corey telling me we got 2 minutes here. The Argos have not played a home game yet. They're 2-4. Their quarterback, Chad Kelly's complaining about that, and I kind of had fun. Do you have time for that argument, what they've been dealing with all year, or not?
It is what it is. I mean, you deal with it, right? I mean, if anything, that just shows, that's one more thing on their minds. So the opponent, you can manipulate that, and as far as challenges and the ability to where you're playing your games, who cares? Line up, let's play.
That's how I feel.
We'll play in the backyard, we'll play in the street, we'll play on the schoolyard. It doesn't matter.
Well, they came into Sask and he lit up the scoreboard.
Yep.
Here, whatever it was, like 4 weeks ago, and nobody said it. He didn't say a word about it. Didn't seem to matter. Well, we've been on the road for a long time.
Oh my!
Well, what if they go into BC Place and have their way with the BC Lions and motorboat them? Wait a minute. I thought it was a problem that you weren't at home.
I don't know how these hockey guys, how do these hockey guys do it when they go on, these road trips?
Oh, it's not as hard.
I mean, come on. Like, it's just play the game.
Honestly, it's not as hard as it used to be. That's a topic for another time in terms of training, rest, diet, all the rest. They're not feeding them Big Macs and Export A's. You know what I mean?
And Labatt Blue.
Yeah, and those guys didn't complain. Okay, life was great.
Absolutely, it was.
Okay, we'll be coming right back. 902-518-3033, the YouTube chat. It's the RP Show. Game Plus streaming, WQVZ radio, and podcast. We'll be right back.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly, we built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics, game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're live from Western Dodge. Do you need to return that text? I
I'm
apologize.
good.
I was talking your ear off.
Oh,
I don't see you very often.
You know how you do. You got to manage. You got to manage. It's called work-life balance.
What is that?
There is no work-life balance.
There's no such thing. I said to Moose DuPont, I said, you got to pick one, Moose. Yep. Career, family. I don't know anybody that's done both successfully, but anyways, you seem to be doing just fine.
I fumble from one foot to the next.
Yeah.
Trust me, that 5-year-old is throwing a real monkey wrench into
that little gift from God.
Oh, and he's massive. Like
shocking.
He's 52 inches tall, 80 some pounds, and not even in kindergarten.
He's going to be a baller.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hope so.
Scott Schultz here, Rider Hall of Famer. We're talking about the big win last night, 36-34. Edmonton Elkamos over the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 37-34. The Edmonton fans are upset at me now for calling them the Elkamos. I'm like, guys, we've been calling them that for at least 3 years. All of a sudden, now you're mad?
But don't they have some way that they're trying to go back to the Eskimos in some ways or some representation?
Chris Morris, who you knocked heads with for a long time, has said they're not going to publicly go back.
Right.
So until that changes, I'm not going to believe the rumors. I respect him. He's a smart guy. I think he said it was just feasible. What did he say? It's not feasibly possible to go back. How do you feel about that?
Very Edmonton-ish.
Lyncher.
I don't know. As you know, I played for the University of North Dakota when they were still the Fighting Sioux.
Right. You know about
SIOUX. And to be quite honest, I mean, not to get on a horse, but a lot of times it's not the people who are involved with the actual situation that have a problem with these things. I mean, a lot of the opposition for the Fighting Sioux name came out of Eastern United States and New York.
Edmonton changed their name because of sponsors were upset.
Yeah.
And at the time, I said, I don't know whether I'm correct on this or not, but I said, you can't bow to your sponsors. And they were Bel Air Direct and Boston Pizza. And they're going to force you to change your name? They could leave next year as sponsors.
Exactly. And so, you're gonna change, 100 years of tradition.
And yet they did.
I know. It's crazy.
But that Sioux thing was like the first team to do it. So how did you feel about that? You were upset, as I recall.
I was very upset because, it went in waves. There was, I think in the 90s it perked up there and then it quieted it down. And then when I was there, it perked back up again and then it quieted it down. And then when I was well into my CFL career, they actually went ahead and made the change after the main benefactor, Ralph Engelstad, had passed away. When it was happening, they were building that magnificent hockey rink facility.
The Ralph.
And he told them, I'll let this thing rust on the prairies if you change the name mid construction. And so that kind of, but then when he died, I think it was at the time the largest philanthropic donation to a university in the United States. It was like over $600 million. It was just wild. So
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I bet they regret falling for the woke crowd. I mean, you'd have to ask them, but let me just say this. The Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Guardians. The Washington Redskins changed their name to the Commanders. Are they suffering from attendance issues? I don't know. I don't believe the Commanders are.
No, I think, it's a tough one. It's just,
it is.
And I think, as we progress here in 2026, things are kind of coming back.
You think they're coming back?
I think they're coming back to the middle. I wouldn't say that it's a whiplashing back, but it's slowly creeping back to something that we can at least be a little bit more representative.
Well, it's just funny because you got more than enough of your hands full with football, but now I'm working in baseball at a high level. This WCBL is NCAA, and the pitching coach, Jeff Freeborn, who also scouts for the Cincinnati Reds, said to me recently, we're moving away. Baseball's moving away from analytics. I'm like, thank God.
Holy smokes. What are they? So what? And they're just back to
going by feel,
just feeling, eyeballing.
If our pitcher's having a rolling in the 8th, with a no hitter, we're not going to pull him because he's thrown 110 pitches. We're going to let him finish it up.
I like.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't mind that. Because something. Just like anything, Rod. If you go too far one way or the other, it's not good. You got to find that. You got to find the jazz in the middle.
It did go too far, and I didn't think it would ever come back, so I was actually kind of happy to hear that. Darren in Melfort writes in, number one, he says, I agree, stay in Canada if they expand. See, that's the other thing, though. We all want expansion. I think we all do. More jobs, I would hope more money for everybody. My God, the wages haven't changed in 40 years.
No.
Really. But no, it has to be in Canada. Well, personally, I would like to have a CFL team in South Florida. Does that make me selfish? Then I'm selfish. It would be real nice. Darren also says, hang on. Joe Lazado writes in. He's the biggest John Lynch fan in New York. He writes in. He says, Schultze is right. It's almost never the people involved in a particular situation. It's a small, vocal, woke group of attention seekers that ruin things for everyone. Well, and by the way, I mean, it's the nice thing about podcasts and what we do. You can say what you want. You'll never hear me swear. That's just not me on the air. However, some guy came at me yesterday about the Jaden Dulkey situation because I asked Jordan Hughes about him. And Some reporter in Chicago about, well, how did you feel about the Johnny Gaudreau thing? And I said, go look it up. You're a reporter.
I love it.
No, but I'm not. Get out of my face.
Yep.
Bishma, it's all horrible.
Yep.
And the fans and friends of Jaden Dahlke have a right to grieve and express their love for him. It has nothing to do with Bishma in terms of having Jorgen Hughes on yesterday. So my whole point is get out of my face. And the guy backed off fast.
Yep. Well, and that's good. 3 years ago, you might have
been different.
You might have been a little more choosy, right? But so I think it's fair play, and like you said, in a situation like that, how can you point to? I mean, obviously there's wrong that's been done, but it's two young folks that lives are lost. Thank God there was no more lives lost. And how do you situate? How like people getting on the team for even remembering the other?
They are. Yeah.
It's like, well, better late than never. And it's just like, well, what are you supposed to do? I mean, they're trying to do something. And they're trying to do the best that they can.
I got to give CBC a lot of credit because they called me for an interview the other day. And number one, I was like, why are you even calling me? I don't even know why. But they just said, we want to ask you about the Riders' reaction to this, how they've handled it. And I said, well, why would you ask that? And they said, well, they're being criticized. I said, of course, we're all being criticized for something. I said, there's no handbook.
Yep.
And I said, I would suggest everybody's doing the best that they can. And CBC handled it really, really well. They said, what does this say about football culture? I said, nothing. If Jaden Dahlke works at Walmart, we're not having this conversation right now. This happens all the time. It's not a football culture issue. And she actually was really good about it. She didn't twist anything. I mean, she was kind of poking.
She was digging, trying to lead you down.
Waiting to see. But I was like, no. And then she put in the article, she says, Rod, who's an advocate for addiction recovery, says this, just a sad situation all around. I mean, the Riders, would I have handled it differently? I don't know. It's never happened before.
Yep.
So how are we going to sit here and say how they should have handled it?
Well, exactly. And all you can do is just, try to put your best foot forward, be honest and transparent, and just take it as it comes. I mean, I don't know how else you get through a situation like this. There's, like you said, there is no handbook.
Well, and before we went to air, we're talking about some of the scandals that went on in your time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Travis Smith, it's in the news.
Some nefarious characters we had, but I mean, you talk about that, and you're talking about HIV/AIDS. You're talking about intentional spread of that disease. You're talking about close contact with your teammates in the sense of, a lot of guys, he was the team barber. Some of the
05-06, we had a player on the team, Travis Smith, former Alabama Crimson Tide. I don't mind saying I love the guy. I won't speak for you. We were good friends, but he was had found to have HIV and was charged with knowingly spreading it, and my God, and was still playing.
Yeah, and then you talk about the extracurricular activities of other teammates with the same folks, and it's just it was a mess, a diabolical mess.
It's huge, and how do you compare tragedies?
Yeah.
Like what was worse?
Yeah.
They were both terrible.
It's just, I guess what we're trying to contrast there is two things happened that were just way off the ball, and the only way that you handle it is taking that first step forward and being truthful, being transparent, and trying to look after everyone involved.
Yeah, well, and the thing was, everybody laughs at my Shivers impressions. Yours are way better than mine.
But I got to swear too much, so I can't really say it so much on the line.
Well, but can you imagine being Shiv, and that was our general manager, Roy Shivers, at that time, saying, hey, the guy's health status, we couldn't disclose it. Pretty much what he told
None
you.
of your business. It was just, it was one of those things. And so, and then you think to yourself, if anyone else was in some kind of a situation, you wouldn't want your stuff spread out all over there. So, yeah, it's
legally you can't.
These situations are, and then there's also with the Dahlke situation. I don't know. Did they lay? I don't think there's any charges laid.
How could with who?
And so that's not really publicly available information. So if anyone is going to release any information, it's got to come from the families, I think, moving forward.
Well, I guess. I mean, this last night, we're sitting in the press box at the Millers baseball game, and the guys were saying, these are career media guys in the press box going, does the RCMP have to disclose what the toxicology results are? I'm like, I thought they did.
I did too, but then the point was made. Well, there's no choice. There's no charges, so there's no public interest, and so that's private information.
Wow.
So that's kind of like. So I don't. Hey, I am no expert. It's just. But that's what happens. The rumor mill gets going.
Write it down, everybody. July 24th. You now see what I've said for years. I hate, loathe, can't stand when news and sports intersect.
No.
I can't stand it because when it does, it's never good.
No,
it's never been good. Not one time.
And then increasingly, everyone's looking for the clickbait and views and all that. So and people, I guess people feel more emboldened to say stuff online because there's no repercussion for them.
That they know of.
Just wait.
You don't know what goes on behind the scenes or what letters get sent to whom.
Better watch out with these flock cameras popping up everywhere.
Exactly. We'll be coming right back. One more segment with Schultz. We'll talk some NFL, some of his stories from I know it's 1 hour down right there. And Mike Davis joins us from Vegas coming up after this.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that? Oh boy.
Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Where's my bell? We have a Hall of Famer in the mix. The old 96er. Scott Schultz is here in town as we welcome viewers across Las Vegas and Nevada. He's an NFL alum. We straightened that out. We're talking football on a Football Friday. And coming up, the head coach and general manager of your first place Vegas Nighthawks, Mike Davis, will be joining us as well in the next segment. Ball for all. And we are opening with some Canadian Football League talk as we are into week 8. And oh boy, did it start off with quite the lid lifter on Thursday night. But he was with the Steelers and the Chargers for a cup of coffee and a donut. He's got some great stories. So when we go to air across the states, or at least across Nevada, we'd like to get the NFL stuff in here with Schultze. And some of your adoring fans have found out that you're on with us today, Schultz. They've been writing in on
There you go.
None of your old girlfriends from the University of North Dakota.
Probably my mom typing in.
No, but since we are on the air in Nevada right now, and I guess the biggest news of the week that I saw is the Raiders signing Fernando Mendoza yesterday. I said to the viewer, Jason, that wrote in with that, I said it would be news if he didn't sign.
Yes.
When you're the number 1 overall pick. But still, it's a nice thing to have behind you. Steelers, Chargers. You told me the Flutie story from San Diego, but what other memories do you have from those instances?
Just great. Like I almost got in a fist fight, a naked fist fight with Cordell Stewart in the shower.
You've never told me that. I'm glad I asked. Tell me.
There you go.
Fighting over the soap?
Fighting over the shower. Like, I was a second-year guy coming in just trying to make the team, and Cordell, unbeknownst to him, was on the way out. They had Tommy Maddox there at the time as well, and he just tried to debo me in the shower. He was like, "Hey, Brooke, get out of my shower. That's my shower." And I was like ready to fight. Coming from Moose Jaw, it's the fighting city.
Yeah, you were just a kid, right? That was your first pro taste.
Well, second. I was 23 maybe.
Okay.
And so I was ready, and then everyone kind of was like. It was like, I've never been in prison, but I mean, it was,
felt like a
bunch of naked guys in the shower, and I was balled up, ready to go.
You're ready to go?
Oh, yeah. And he backed down, of course. I'm a lineman, of course, and he's a quarterback, so what's going to happen?
You were you're raised on the mean streets of Moose Jaw.
Oh, yes.
The Golden Dukes.
A wrestling background as well, a grappler.
Well, here's one for you. Why not? Gary has written in from Calgary. I'll get it out of the way now. Gary says, hey, Schultz, what end of town did you grow up in? When I grew up in Moose Jaw, it was what end of town? I was proud. I grew up in the East End.
Oh, East Enders. I was a South Hill boy. South of the tracks.
You went to Riverview?
On the other side of the tracks. Yes, Riverview. That was my stomping.
I walked by there every day. It looks like some tough cookies have come through those doors.
Let me tell you, of the 4 high schools in Moose Jaw, it was probably the toughest for sure.
So here's one for you that I haven't asked you to tell in a while. We're all about entertaining here.
Sure.
And we'll get down to business with some hardcore football talk. But he's got the best story about recruiting. And Joe Paterno.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Pa. I mean, the state of college football and all the right. You're probably like everybody else, wishing you were playing now to get paid.
Well, right? I got some stories on that, like just things that I've heard about NIL and stuff, and it just blows your mind.
It is insane. But tell them your story. This is a great recruiting story.
So I was
Notre Dame,
out of Moose Jaw. In the old days, we sent out the 600 videotapes to all the colleges, and I started getting a ton of Division I offers. I didn't know any better. I didn't know the difference between Penn State and North Dakota. I just knew that you're getting a full scholarship offer, and so. I had gone to a bunch of high school football camps in North Dakota, and they're a Division II program at the time, and they kind of identified me as a good player, and they knew kind of what they had. I didn't, and they offered me a full ride, and I was the only freshman on a Division II team that had a full scholarship and the books and everything paid for. And I remember having a phone call from Joe Paterno trying to set up a school visit for me and my family to come down and visit Penn State, come to a game, do all
Happy Valley, right?
Yeah, do the whole deal. And I remember talking to Mr. Paterno on the phone, and I had to stop him, and I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Paterno, I really appreciate the offer, but I have to tell you I've committed to UND." And he goes, "Huh? Well, Notre Dame's a good school. They're not. They play internationally and all the rest, or not internationally.
Independently.
Yeah. And it's a good program." I said, "No, I'm University of North Dakota." And there's just like a long pause. And then he said, "Well, good luck to you, son." And the phone call was over.
What? North Dakota?
Yeah. Well, you know what? To me, I think it actually played my favor because I was a 4-year starter at, I redshirted and then 4 years of starting. You get to some of these big programs. I mean, the Penn States, Stanfords, I had some, Virginia. You might not have played till you were a junior or a senior, with the pecking order in those days.
Stop. The big no, not that. You met your wife there.
Absolutely. Number one plus.
The gift of your life.
The gift of my life with my 4 lovely children out of
Hall of Famer Scott Schultz. It sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. The old 96er. I gave him that name, by the way.
That's right.
It's your mom's license plates.
That's right.
Joe Lazito, still hanging in from New York. He's watching from Manhattan right now.
Yeah, beat that.
He says, Schultz, have any stories about Bert Grossman? I believe they were with the Chargers at the same time.
Bert Grossman. Not so much. I mean, when you're on those teams, and it was so long ago, I was so dialed into your position group. And
you didn't have time.
Yeah,
you weren't sightseeing. You weren't going for lunch.
I wasn't mingling.
No. Well, it's funny because Jorgen Hughes was on here yesterday. Such a great guy. And he will be in the Hall of Fame for long snappers. But I asked him what was going on in St. Louis when you were playing with the Rams. And he goes, well, there was a rumor going around that Stan, our owner, had bought this land in L.A. and was going to move the team. And
jeez,
lo and behold,
here it is.
So that's the difference, that there actually isn't that big of a difference between the two leagues. I've often said to all those guys that have played in the CFL and NFL, what's the biggest difference? And they say, money. And that's it.
That is it. Well, Chad Ochocinco had a great, he came up and played in Montreal, and he was shocked. Like, he thought he was just going to walk in there and be all world, kind of like the Ricky Williams idea back in the day. And he had nothing but good things to say. He's like, these guys can ball, and it came down to him as it's just a numbers game is really what it. And then of course the apparatus that the NFL operates under, of course. But as far as you want to talk about skilled players and ability, it's pretty darn close.
I asked you this last year when you were on, but I asked this to everybody, so I can't remember what your answer was. Is there one NFL team that you identify as the team that you cheer for?
Right now, this year, I'm hoping I'm gonna put my support behind the LA Rams.
Nice.
I mean, they got that guy from Cleveland, and then
Myles Garrett,
and then the D tackle's looking to come back.
Aaron Donald.
AD. Now, AD to me is like he's one of the best defensive players ever. In what he's been able to accomplish, and he's done it at a smaller size. He reminds me of John Randall, although John Randall had
the handle.
Although Randall had about 20 more sacks than he did. But suffice to say, I think that defense is going to be lights out if he comes back.
Rams guy, a lot of Rams fans around. By the way, we spent all of hour one talking about the Canadian Football League because there's viewers that are writing in to ask about it. Dan from Winnipeg writes in, he says, good CFL game last night. So in the time we have left with Schultz, which is significant before Mike Davis joins us from the Vegas Nighthawks, but let's just go over it again. I'm sure it was on CBS Sports Network last night, and if it wasn't, it was on CFL Plus. Edmonton at Saskatchewan, first place in the West Division on the line, the lid lifter to Week 8, and it's a back-and-forth, really track meet all night long, and it goes down to the final minute, 4 seconds to go. Edmonton's kicker kicks a 57-yard field goal to win it 36-34. My guy, Cody Fajardo, we talk on this show all the time about him, Nevada Wolfpack, great out of Reno. Still has a home in Reno. That's where his wife was watching the game from last night, Laura. 5-10 he threw for, and 4 tuds. They're calling it the game of the year
so far. I mean, and it wasn't lopsided records. It was 2 of the top teams that are battling for supremacy in the West, and God, it delivered. It absolutely delivered down to the wire. 57-yard field goal drops in. The only thing better would have been a rider win. I mean, that's
as he said last hour, though. The other team gets paid too. Just a hell of a game. And there's a lot of football left to be played on the season. Tonight, it's Calgary and Winnipeg. We went through all our picks. We do them every week for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early and stay late at the place where friends meet. Pump Jack's. But it's Calgary at Winnipeg. Again, you're not as into it. Look what's on your chest. You're not really. But Winnipeg can clinch the season series with a win tonight already in Week 8. I feel like when guys take the field, they're not probably thinking of that, but that is still motivation
Oh,
right?
100%.
It's not something they're like, we can put this in our back pocket if we win this one here tonight.
No, it's a big deal in the CFL, and you got to win these. You got to win these scenarios when you're playing a team twice a year, 3 times a year. You got to win the series, and it's just. Yeah, it's 2 teams that, you look at what Winnipeg's done, and I think they're starting to reel a little bit. They've had so much success over the last probably 4 or 5 seasons, and they may be at the end of their cycle of players that they need to replenish, and so we'll see what happens.
That's the big one tonight. The Brayley Bowl on Saturday, Toronto at BC, and Sunday, Hamilton at Montreal. We'll be talking more about this with Mike Davis when he joins us next, because he likes to talk about all the leagues. Jeremy writes in and says, hello, Rod Squad, summer holidays. Nice break. Hope everyone's having a great summer. NFL training camps are back. So let's go back to that for a second. How much are you into it?
Well, I mean, you got to see what's happening. I'm always what I keep an eye out for is the catastrophic injuries, right? And it seems because of the way that they run practices these days, there's less contact, more injuries. You see, because those are the things where teams are paying such a top dollar for these athletes, and when one goes down, it really can affect their lineup.
It's kind of interesting to follow that because the revenue keeps going up and up and up, and with that, the salaries keep going up and up and up. Right?
These guys.
Yet the quarterbacks are the guys that are making all the money, and, a couple weeks ago, I wrote in my column, what were the top 10 stories going into the NFL season? And there are a lot, but the number one I had was, what's the Super Bowl matchup going to be? I just read this morning. Somebody said the NFL wouldn't be happy with that Super Bowl last year. The game was boring. As a matter of fact, off the top of your head, do you remember who it was?
I don't.
Patriots and Seahawks.
Well, that's right.
The Sam Darnold story, the Drake May thing, right? And all the like. I'll be honest. I'm sure that the commissioner would be glad to get the guys on the field. Too many guys getting in trouble.
Yep. Idle hands. Let's get back to work.
In football, more than any other sport.
Oh yeah.
When does this stuff all happen? Off season, bye weeks.
Yep.
When the guys are not, busy. But just a couple of questions. Like, for instance, Kansas City Chiefs. This is the stuff the other shows talk about ad nauseum forever, and people don't ever get tired of it.
Right.
Like of the Chiefs. Travis Kelce coming back. Whoever thought that he was going to retire?
Nobody.
Like, there are not many guys walk away like you did on your own terms.
Right.
Healthy and say, toodles, Hall of Fame career. Kelce he's probably going to play till they say, we don't want you anymore.
Till the wheels fall off.
Right.
And a lot of guys, have that mentality, and with those kind of dollars, and I get it, but I don't think that his play has fallen off dramatically. I mean, I think he's still one of the top tight ends in the league. There's no question about it.
He's never been a speed guy.
No,
right? That's not what you're worried about.
No.
The big question there is the quarterback, and how does he come back from a knee injury?
Well, exactly. But the thing is, too, they might also be thinking, hey, let's keep Kelce around to help insulate Mahomes and give him some familiarity and a guy that he can trust.
Andrew writes in from North Battleford. He says, what a great show with Schultze. Great stuff. Listen, don't let it go to his head. The old 96er. Everybody's been kissing his butt since he got into town here. Which reminds me, I said, if you were watching an hour and 20 minutes ago. So the guy showed up 5 hours before every game. But he shows up here 7 minutes before the show. So I didn't get a chance to get over. We got one that were as much as we could, right in the breaks.
That's how it goes.
But were you always the first in the locker room on a game day?
Always. And then one of my heroes, Bobby Jerson, helped me correct my schedule. He was walking through, big famous Rough Rider Hall of Famer coming through one of the...
Number 71, Northern Michigan.
He was the man. And he says, hey, I like that you're the first guy in here. He goes, I asked him, when did you used to come to the locker room? I used to go 5 hours. So I made open the lid, made the quarter turn adjustment. And
Seriously?
Absolutely. And I was young. I was probably 2003 or 4 when that happened.
Well, you want to talk about greats. This guy wore a bandana under his helmet, as you remember.
Oh, the rising sun.
All of a sudden, 300,000 kids across the province are wearing bandanas under their helmets because of Bobby Jerson. He was that kind of guy.
I think 140-some plus sacks, career sacks, and he's like in the top 5 in the CFL.
Jurasac Park.
Oh, my Lord, he was good.
He's up there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I didn't know that Jurison was behind your 5-hour thing. What does a guy do for 5 hours before the game?
Well, I used to do a lot of the hot and cold contrast, to get your legs going, and then just you get in the old sauna a little bit. Try to get hydrated after that, and then it's just I was one of those guys I didn't have a lot of high end skill. I was more of a physical.
You're a brawler,
brawler guy, right? And I had a lot of good success with that. But it was like, it's really getting not into character, but it's just that mindset of the physicality that's about to happen. Because when you're at the nose guard and you're in a center, you're in a one technique and you got a shade on the guard. It's just a meat grinder for 60 plays. And so, I had to ease myself into that for every game.
How soon did you show up for practice?
Same, not 5 hours, but I was always there early, one of the earlier guys. Because, again, you're always messing with treatment or doing something.
Good morning, riders.
Good morning, riders.
We didn't even get into that
dog.
stuff.
Kenny
Next time. God bless him.
God bless him. One of the greats.
Yeah.
One of the very greats.
Hall of Famer himself, the old 96er. Thank you, Schultz. Good seeing you. Appreciate you coming over to your hometown.
Really appreciate it, guys.
Always good. Mike Davis is coming in next from the Vegas Nighthawks. Our guest today for Prairie Panels are Scott Schultz and Mike Davis. Will be joining us next from Vegas to talk CFL, NFL, Major Indoor Football League, and whatever you all would like. We'll be right back in a moment. Silver State Sports, WQVZ, and Game Plus streaming.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
I'll tell you what, if you love football, this is the show for you. This is the time of year for you. Everybody is raging today in a good way about the Canadian Football League Week 8 lid lifter last night. NFL training camps opening. Mike Davis joins us from the Vegas Nighthawks. There's always doing great things. How you doing, Mike? It's been a while, Coach.
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. The first thing that popped in my mind before we talk about all these other things is this quarterback play that we're talking. The viewers are writing in saying we can't have any more starters go down across the CFL. We know what happens in the NFL. Is it as pronounced in the major indoor football league with you guys too? Is the quarterback that guy as much as these other leagues?
100%. You know, that's your gunslinger. That's your leader. You know, you can't we carry two good ones and you have to. And if you don't, you're one injury away from being a dumpster fire, as I always say it.
Wow. Well, so tell me what's the latest with your club? What do you guys got going on?
We're the number 2 seed in the playoffs. We have one more game tomorrow night, and then playoffs start next week, August 2nd, where we'll play the Rattlers, and they have to come here. And playoffs, anything happens at that point. You got to be playing your best football.
It was funny because Scott Schultz just adjourned. He said to say hi, and he's like, "Is that the league with Arizona?" I said, "That's the league. That is the league. Pretty good league, isn't it? The future is bright. You guys are expanding, right, in the major indoor football league."
Yeah, we'll have probably four expansion teams next year. They just announced Athens, Georgia, and Austin, Texas, and they got 2 more that they're going to announce. So just kind of sitting back and waiting to see kind of who gets those jobs and what the league looks like.
Well, you know what's interesting about that is you love football, obviously. That's what you're doing, but you also love business. What has gone right in that league to the point that you can add 4 more teams? Because leagues don't just do this every day.
Well, I think the first thing that we did, or the league did well, is they partnered with Yahoo Sports,
right?
And Yahoo Sports kind of blew it up, and the viewership's been over the top, and everybody's, all the ownership in the league is happy with that. So that's where it starts, right? You got to have great owners, and you got to have a good business model, and they've done that, and so from that, it's just kind of rolled downhill, and sponsors come crawling. Or come running, I guess, when the business is good.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always been a great product. We've been watching it for years, and I love that. And that's the segue, I guess, because you, like the viewers here, they got a million questions for you, but also they're just popping off about the big game at Mosaic Stadium last night, the Week 8 opener. Saskatchewan Roughriders home to the Edmonton Elks, and on the last play of the game, a 57-yard field goal by Victor Blanchard. Do I have his name right? He wins it, and Cody Fajardo wins, goes to 6-1 Edmonton. What a game in Saskatchewan last night. You watch them all. What was your take?
I think it goes back to the majority of the games in the CFL this year, right? Defenses are struggling. Offenses are hot. Whoever has the ball last normally has the best chance to win. But that kid kicking a 57-yard field goal, that field goal was good for 65. It wasn't close. And, that kid has become a weapon for Edmonton. And, it's fun to watch. Everybody likes exciting football. Everybody likes points being scored. Obviously for Cody, it's a nice little redemption to go back and what he threw for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns and comes out with a win. He kind of just, I'm sure he slept well last night, to say the least.
Oh, yes, of course. Nevada Wolfpack great. Cody Fajardo getting the win in his old house and a very entertaining game. But as a coach and a defensive coach like you are, do you enjoy a game like that, or are you gnashing your teeth at the breakdowns and the miscues on defense?
I don't know if I'm gnashing my teeth. It's just there's some great offensive players in the league, and there's some great offensive minds. I think that the defenses in the CFL right now are struggling for whatever reason, whether it's personnel, schematics, calling the wrong things at the wrong time. You look across the league, I think that Calgary's leading the league in points, 37.5 or something close, but their defense is giving up like almost 36. Like, that's not a recipe for success in the long term. So you got to make some changes, and you got to. I use the old car analogy all the time, Rod. Right? Like you can have a Ferrari, but it might not be running on all 8 cylinders. So sometimes you got to change a spark plug or two to get it purring again, and it takes some love, and that doesn't happen overnight.
No, absolutely. Well, it's interesting because you were coaching in the league. Like, I think we're all sitting here going, what is going on with this video game numbers by the quarterbacks? But you were coaching in the CFL when they made the change on the pass interference where you just can't put your hands on guys. And that very clearly led to some eye-popping completion, high percentages, and yardage. But that's been almost 10 years ago. So what is it now? Because nothing's really, from what I can see, has changed.
Well, I think if you look at all the defensive coordinators, most of them come from the same tree, right? Like if you look around, like everybody's been a part of the Don Matthews, besides Noel Thorpe, right? That's the one team that's different. But everybody else has come from a very similar tree. Don Matthews, Chris Jones, Mike Benavides, and they're all run very similar styles. And I haven't seen somebody that really took a hold to something and said, hey, I'm good. I'm doing this and I'm changing this because this is what I want to do. And we might struggle early, but we'll fine tune and we'll tinker and get it right late. Right now you line up and people kind of know what you're in. And, it's quarterbacks are loving life right now.
I tell you what, so there's a lot of questions here. Handle as many as you can. I say to the viewers, keep in mind that Mike is the coach and general manager of a pro football team. That is his focus. Some are right down over the plate for you, and some might be right outside. So you pass on those if you have to. But like Vancouver Eric writes in, and he says, Coach, how much practice time does your backup get in Arena Bowl? Quarterback.
We split reps. We do. Our quarterback, our starter gets 65, 60, and our backup gets 40% because you're one injury away from him being thrown to the wolves. So you have to keep them fresh and you have to keep them ready.
Okay. Jeff, the Stampeders fan, says, what days are your games played, Mike?
Saturdays and Sundays.
Easy peasy. Jeremy in Winnipeg says, Mike, do you think Jerry Jones and company did enough on defense to make a push to win the East? NFC East, obviously.
Oh, yes. I think that they've done a tremendous job of upgrading the D-line and the secondary. You still got Dak Prescott as your quarterback, and you got to make me a believer on Dak.
Join the club. I'm sure I've told you that I'm a Cowboys fan, but it's just, Mike, we gave up the Cowboys. It's never going to leave me. The Cowboys gave up the most points. Yeah, the most points in franchise history last year. Anything would be better. Like it wouldn't take a whole lot. What? As a matter of fact, with that NFL thing, what's the vibe there? Raiders set to open training camp. Please tell me the vibe. I'm guessing you can't escape it in that town.
It's buzzing. I mean, literally, it's buzzing. I mean, again, I've said this, a couple months ago after free agency. Like they literally went out and got 7 starters on the football team. So I think 6 on defense. And obviously with Linderbaum coming over from the Ravens, like, I mean, you get Kirk Cousins, like you're loving life right now. The new staff is tremendous, and I'm excited to see what happens with them. I'd love to see them be successful, and but they're also in a tough division.
Of the 32 NFL teams, how many do you think are going to training camp legitimately thinking we don't have a hope? Like there are a few. The Raiders aren't one, though. That the optimism's there. Like most teams are, I guess my point, Mike, are optimistic right now.
Everybody's excited, but I mean, let's be honest. If you're the Jets, the Giants, you got no shot, right? Like you got who else? Everybody else, like you got to kind of enjoy where you. Titans, no shot. Just trying to think. I mean,
Cardinals,
less than 5. Cardinals, no shot.
Which is terrible to say. I hate saying it. I don't think you like saying it either, but.
No, you don't. But again, Rome wasn't built on a day. And in the world we live in, you have to give people 2 or 3 years to get it right and flip a roster, which, I think that they're going to do. You get rid of Kyler Murray. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Like, okay, let's. At least you're making strides to show that you're trying to improve things. And sometimes you're going to get worse before it gets better.
All things being equal, and you're a bright guy, you'll understand this question when I say it. Somebody said Carson Beck's going to have a better season than Fernando Mendoza this year. Based on what your metrics would be for that, who do you think has the better season, Carson Beck or Fernando Mendoza?
Well, Carson Beck, because I don't think Fernando Mendoza plays a snap.
If all goes right. Like going into the year, I'm still not
like Carson Beck's going to be challenging
Mm-hmm.
for the starting job there, right? Like Mendoza, unless the Raiders start off 0-5 or 2-6, I don't see him playing. Right? I think this is a long-term play for them. And I mean, there's a reason he signed a 4-year fully guaranteed contract with a 5th-year option. They're going to get him there for a year, groom him. Let's get you right. Now, if he comes in and somehow beats out Kirk Cousins, hats off to him. And then you're really cooking with grease. But you're not expecting that. You're expecting him to come in, set for a half a season or the whole season, and you got enough weapons. You got a great running game. Let's figure this out for year 2.
And that's why we don't put the Raiders in that gross group of teams that don't have a hope, because you got Fernando Mendoza and Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm looking at Arizona. I never thought for a second Carson Beck would start a game, but Jarrett Stidham, I think, is the other guy. It's like, ooh, that's not good. That's not good. Jeremy,
what happened? Jarrett Stidham played in the playoff game last year, and what happened? I mean, for Denver, it was terrible.
Really bad. Really bad. Do you have spent any time on what a Super Bowl matchup might be? I'm saying, what did I say? I said Denver Rams. Denver Rams.
With Aaron Donald returning, you got to go with the Rams. I'm an advocate for Denver just because of what they've done, and you know, coaching is a big thing for me, and those are two of the best coaches' minds in the business right now.
It's unbelievable what Denver's done with Sean Payton. I love it. I love Sean Payton. Jeremy says Jets, Dolphins, Cardinals, Saints. Those are the teams without a hope. Ken's watching in Mississauga, Ontario. He says, but these no-chance teams will still fill the stadiums, right? How about you watching that, Mike, and just how the revenue just keeps going up and up and up? You must be. For the NFL.
I mean, it's the NFL. People love it. You know, now granted, some of those teams that, like, you can get a cheap Dolphins ticket. You can get a cheap Saints ticket. You know, Jets, Giants. Yep. You know, I mean, you're in those cities, like, you see it. So it's, I mean, there's always people that are fans that are going to go to games because they want the experience. Now, are you going to be who's the Jets fan, the fire marshal jet guy, whatever, that wears the hard hat,
Fireman Ed, Fireman
you know
Ed.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you're always going to have those guys. You know, you're always going to go to the Raiders and see the black hole guys with the shoulder pads and the spikes and the face paints and stuff like that. Like, you're always going to have those guys and those fans, no matter what team you are, right?
Of course,
how much those people bleed into it, and that
it's the show. That's what you're saying. It's the show. That's what they're doing. In Miami, you're right. If the Dolphins are losing, you can get a ticket for $20. But if they're winning, which has been rare, but it's happened over the past few years, it's amazing how fast it skyrockets up. Your boy Krish in Orlando writes in and says, Coach, from a scouting standpoint, what's one common mistake you see teams make when evaluating talent?
Everybody's so caught up in analytics. I need the analytical guy. I need this height, this speed, this frame. Give me a good football player sometimes.
Explain a little more. I mean, I get it, but
like you get guys who say, hey, give me a great athlete that's, and we'll use a linebacker, for example, because it's easy to explain. A linebacker that's super athletic. Maybe he's a converted safety. He doesn't really know much, but we're going to teach him how to be a great linebacker. Or give me a linebacker that's the same frame, maybe 2 steps slower, but he's All-American and that's all he's ever played. Give me that guy with instinctual presence and proven track record that it's done it and been successful over somebody who I'm going to make that guy. Right? And I'm going to take take that guy.
Well, and I don't know where Justin Rankin fits into that, but he's becoming. You're following this. The story of the year. Everybody says should be the most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League. He came from the Vegas Nighthawks, and their radio guy was on with us last week. Morley Scott says that Justin is the biggest advocate of indoor football. I guess he watches all your games. I don't know if he's staying in touch with you guys. But my point on this, Mike, is you've watched Edmonton from the ground up before Ed Hervey and Mark Killam even got there. How have they gone from worst to first? This is no overnight success here.
No, last year they took their lumps. Let's be honest, right? But they have a lot of people in that building that believe, right? And the belief it's unbelievable how contagious it is when you get a little bit of success and belief. And, I don't know the numbers because I wasn't prepared for that one, but I bet you they're not turning the ball over. They're creating turnovers and they're pressuring the quarterback, right? People forget. Yeah. There's a guy that might be the best player on that defense right now in the backfield, Cordell Jackson, that also played in the Indoor Football League with Justin Rankin.
Well, don't worry. I got the numbers. Edmonton's number 1 in turnover ratio. I don't know where they are in sacks. Yeah, but that's what's winning you games. So thank you. That's why
I'm not
you're
even
good, Mike.
Sacks, just pressures, right? The hits on the quarterback. Look at last night alone. Trevor Harris got banged around a ton. He might not have hit the ground, but they beat on him, right? Those beat ons, those run intos, and they add up quickly, right? I'm sure, and Trevor's, not a spring chicken, so he's probably feeling the effects of that today.
40 years old, and he said that his best football was ahead of him. I thought he was on something. Turns out he was right, even though we didn't win it last night. We only got a couple minutes left here, but Jeremy from Winnipeg says, where does Diego Pavia end up? You see Baltimore released him, the Vanderbilt quarterback. You must be tracking that story.
Winnipeg, no doubt.
Because they have his rights, or?
They have his rights. There's a lot of people in the circle, he's a Zach Caleros fan, right? I think he's going to become humbled, and that's going to be his only path unless he goes to the UFL. But I genuinely think he ends up in Winnipeg before the season's over this year.
Wow. Speaking of that, thoughts on Calgary at Winnipeg tonight?
Calgary. I think, I just think that their offense is clicking. Obviously with Dave and what they're doing offensively, obviously with the addition of Marcus and Jarius, and obviously everybody knows they're friends of mine. I just think that offense is humming, and they're gonna get the defense fixed. There's no doubt in my mind that they'll figure that part out. Obviously, they made some additions this week, and it just comes down to it's a quarterback-driven league. I'm taking VA over Drew Brown.
I got it. I'm one of the few. I've got Calgary picked to win tonight. It should be a doozy. Can you show me another show that's talked NFL, CFL, Indoor Football League, and a little college with Diego Pavia? There is no other show like this. Mike, so happy to have you part of it. Good luck this weekend and into the playoffs.
Perfect. Thanks, Roddy.
All right, the great Mike Davis, head coach and general manager of the Vegas Nighthawks of the Major Indoor Football League, joining us from Henderson, Nevada. We'll be coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover till the rest of the to the top of the hour. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. You see, we're broadcasting live from Western Dodge today, our longtime sponsor, your go-to for Dodge, Ram, Jeep vehicles. We'll be right back after this on the RP Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live, as you see, from Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I certainly have. It is a very, very special day when we take the show out on location like this for a lot of reasons. It's not easy to do it. I'll tell you that for free. We only do it on special occasions, and our great partnership with Western Dodge has been so great, and it's also so awesome to bring down Hall of Famers like the old 96er Scott Schultz. So it's just us now until the top of the hour on a very entertaining Football Friday. And I'll tell you, the text line is 902-518-3033. We are live streaming on YouTube. We thank all those that have been watching on the streaming. And, of course, on the radio, WQVZ, where they can't get enough football talk down there, of course, across the U.S. South. I got to clarify a couple things here. Ken in Mississauga writes in and he says, that is a hot take from a knowledgeable source. Which one? My God, Mike Davis was doing a Scruffy imitation there, spitting out hot takes like a Pez dispenser. Which was his hot take? There was a lot. Oh, by the way, speaking of hot takes, when I tell you that I can't wait for tonight's baseball game. So last night I was broadcasting baseball. Our Moose Jaw Miller Express have won 13 in a row. You know how much I love these guys. And tonight, great marketing. There you go. The Walls dog tonight for our big starter, 6'5" righty. He leads the league in strikeouts, Weston Walls. And at the Miller Express concession tonight, get your Weston Walls hot dog. He's from Terrell, Texas. I said to the guys, what goes into a Walls hot dog? Bacon. Like literal bacon, not some cheesy bacon bits out of a package. Cheese, barbecue sauce. Stop. And then they added onions. I'm like, you lost me at onions, but that's okay. I'll tell them to hold the onions. I'll have a Walls dog. Our Thomas Soto hot dog went off the charts for the July 4th game. Yeah, we've won 13 in a row, hottest team in the league. So, yeah, that's where my mind is. We're going to be off the air here in 16 minutes, and I'll be thinking about baseball tonight. And last night, I was broadcasting a baseball game, but I'm so glad that I had the CFL game streaming in the broadcast booth with me. It wasn't easy. It's very difficult to broadcast a game of any kind and then watch another one, but I'm so glad that I did because, as we were saying earlier with our guests today, it went down to the very last second, a track meet up and down the field, and it's just been – fans love offense. You know, I like defense in every regard, particularly in baseball, because it means we're not there all night. And when Weston Wall starts, the league leader in strikeouts and innings pitched, we're usually going home early. I like that. But football games, last one with the ball wins. You can't turn it off. That's what we've had in Canadian Football League games. Okay. Ken in Mississauga says the hot take is that Mike thinks Diego Pavia will end up in Winnipeg. Yeah. Well, I mean, they have his negotiation rights. I've seen that floating around. So, but the one thing with Mike, I will say one thing. Mike said before anybody else that Kirk Cousins was going to end up in Las Vegas. So what I love about this show, and it's designed specifically, it's Rod and his friends, has been for 1,784 episodes. Just happens to be that Rod's friends work deeply within the game. So when they throw these things out, they're not just, shooting at the stars. There's something there. And again, we'll see what happens tonight on Friday Night Football. Changing of the guard. You want the veteran quarterbacks playing, but that's not always the case because of injuries. Should be a good one. Jeff the Stamps fan says, I love onions on a dog or a burger, cooked or raw. You can have them. You can have my share. Never been an onion fan. I'll start the sports update. It's going to have to roll over until, as a matter of fact, why even start it? I'll tease you with this. Guardians righty Gavin Williams threw the 122nd immaculate inning in MLB history Thursday night against the Twins. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. Cleveland lost in extras, but Williams became the first pitcher since 2023 with 11 plus strikeouts in 3 straight starts. Oh, baseball's so great. The sports update is for Ultimate Fan Zone. So we'll be coming right back for one final segment for Overtime and Overtime Hockey Lanes. We'll finish the sports update and then whatever comments you have on everything that we have talked about today coming up. Let me just check what's sliding over here on the text line, 902-518-3033. Yeah, we got stuff to get to there as well. Going to be a lively overtime when we come back for one final segment from Western Dodge right after this, Silver State Sports, Game Plus Streaming, and WQVZ.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. For Overtime, I'm thinking our next live show will be from Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I really wish that these summers were a little more locked down than they are, but it's nobody's fault. You know, I'm broadcasting baseball, as I say. We have the best team in the league. We've won 13 in a row, and it kind of feels like we're going to go all the way to the league final. That's the plan. So somewhere in and around there, we'll be out there in Calgary in late August at the end of the season and playoffs. Also, I don't want to let down Theron Fleury. How many years has it been that I've been hosting his golf tournament in Calgary? I got the invite again to be out there for that. So stay tuned is really all I can say for the rest of our summer plans before I pack up and head back to South Florida where my friends are. And I'm so grateful. They're like, when are you coming home? A while yet, but I'll be there. Looking forward to getting home too. Wayne in Victoria writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, what a great Football Friday RP show. Have a wonderful weekend, Rod and squad. Oh, we will. We will have a wonderful weekend. I can tell you that. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, your Cody is a baller. Tremendous performance. If the Argonauts had that Elks kicker, they'd be 4-2, not 2-4. I'll say this, 2026 has been one hell of a year. It's just nice. I mean, I've been singing the praises of Cody Fajardo for a real long time, and I knew he would never let me down. And now you're all just seeing it. 510 yards last night, 4 touchdowns. Nevada Wolfpack, great. Continuing on with a sports update, Jake Knapp got impossibly close to his first career hole-in-one during the first round of the 3M Open when his tee shot on the 4th hole hit the pin on its 3rd bounce before coming to rest on the edge of the cup. Seriously, you can't imagine how close it was. I'll take your word for it. Patrick Kane is returning to the Chicago Blackhawks on a 2-year, $16 million deal after being traded away back in 2023. Kane, 37, returns to the team that selected him first overall in 2007 and with whom he won 3 Stanley Cups and an MVP trophy. Thank you for the clarification yesterday, Jeff the Stamps fan. I said it was 2008 that he went number 1 overall. So his new line mate, Connor Bedard, was exactly 2 years old when Kane went number 1 overall. I know it doesn't matter. That stuff is just kind of fascinating to me. The Mark Cuban-backed private equity firm Harbinger Sports Partners has purchased a minority stake of undisclosed size in the Athletics ahead of their move to Las Vegas. And the Dodgers returned to the White House on Thursday to celebrate their 2025 World Series title. The team gifted President Trump a personalized championship ring, as well as the customary jersey. The sports update is brought to you by our friends at Ultimate Fan Zone. Don't just dress like a fan. That's right. Don't just dress like a spectator. Dress like a fan. They got all your favorite teams' gear. Check them out, ultimatefanzone.ca. Vintage Sasko writes in. He says, Rod, are you a carpenter? Because you are nailing these shows. Woo! You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this. If I was a CFL football fan, I would just love what we've been putting on the air here, because we've had the NFL stories too. G. Roy Simon, Charleston Hughes, Scott Schultz, Jorgen Hughes yesterday, Mark Trestman. My God, throw it all together, and it's an unbelievable streaming series of Hall of Famers. And I'm obviously grateful and blessed every single day to call these guys good friends and to have them, when we dial them up and say, can you come on? Mike Davis, too, champion in his own right. Can you come on down? When and where do you need us? I used to take that stuff for granted. I don't anymore. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Trump loves that stuff. Right, but who doesn't? Let's be perfectly honest. I'm still basking in the glow of last Saturday getting the award of being named an icon at CKRM. Then when they say it's humbling, you don't know until you receive it. And it's humbling because I feel kind of bad for my friends that are waiting on that call. It's a long wait. At the very least, it can happen. Jeff goes on to say, another great week's worth of shows, Rod. Thank you, Jeff, the Stamps fan. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Ha! Jeremy in Winnipeg says, a month till week 0. It's all coming together, right? I mean, that's the one thing about college football in general, and really the CFL. The other leagues are expanding. NHL going to 84 games. How long before the NBA does? The NFL, though, is just exploding in revenue. College football really always has, not to the NFL level, but they're not. I mean, they're adding teams to the college football playoff, but they're not adding games per se. There is something to be said about exclusivity and less is more. And the hype, man, you're showing it. People are just getting more and more and more ramped up for the start of week 0 in college football, week 1 in the NFL. The CFL play has been great. And that's why I don't get the CFL or nothing people. I don't get it because it's all wonderful. There is room for all of us in the great sport of football and all of our interests. Ha! Vancouver Eric writes, and he says, you're the unofficial voice of the CFL, RP. Oh, tell them that. See if they feel that way. Anyways, until then, it's going to be a wonderful weekend. Wayne and Victoria said, have a great weekend. Baseball tonight for me. Baseball Sunday. Saturday, visiting some old-time family friends. I'm going to have a steak supper. We're going to watch the Braley Bowl. And it's just a great summer for us and what we do here in Canada. Ken says, it was nice how you thanked the people behind the scenes. I thank God for that, Ken. He put that in my mind. I had people come up to me and say, you better thank me for being in your speech. I'm like, well, I'm not going to thank you, but I'm going to thank the people that actually really do earn it, or deserve it. Yeah, Ken, I was pointed out, I was the only one that recognized all the people that put us up on stage, the commercial writers, the producers like Corey, all the rest. Thank you for noticing. See you Monday, everybody.
That